Morning, Todd.
Morning, y'all.
Morning, Todd. How are you?
Andy. And you guys? Staying cool?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Wonder.
Thank you.
school community was interested in buying that lot at the 2 months of the sheriff house in Netawaka. Passing it on back.
Okay. Yeah, they have talked to Gerhardt about that. This is- Thank you.
Here's your map, Kathleen. It's the county inside of
All right, I've got 9 o'clock, call meeting to order, pledge. Actually, 9:02. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Entertain a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Second.
And probably moving second to approve the agenda as presented. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carried. All right, Pat, you're first up, buddy.
You all got a copy of that? Of course, that's check item for us, and that's replacing a good chunk of concrete. Pretty much from the steps right up here down, from the edge of the north end of the steps. Oh, that's the curve. I took Mark out earlier, and there's some other stuff that's bad. Maybe we can just do it at the same time. I don't
And
know.
I suggested that we just go ahead and get that done at the same time because there's some places that are sinking, there's some places that are cracking, we're just filling in with the gravel.
It just continues to get worse.
So I'd say just do it all right now and be done with it.
Do you have an estimate on just, is it gonna be the same $10 and some change a square foot to just continue and do it all?
Right. And the reason I chose to do more concrete is I had come up and look at the manhole.
Yeah.
And he said there's nothing wrong with it. And he had PJ come in and look at it, and PJ said the same thing.
Okay.
We just need to put a new ring on the top and check the framework on the brick will make it flush.
Okay. And you're planning on taking that out of your capital outlay for
Right.
building maintenance?
Right.
The courthouse outlay, is that the one you're thinking?
I've got to go get my paper, let's bring it in.
Well, I think there's courthouse,
I think there's courthouse and building and
You know which one was there?
I think it's just this one here, I believe. Courthouse.
Yes.
It'll come out of that.
That on the courthouse one.
That's under, it would be 6-50-5 004-42. I didn't see, it says building maintenance. capital outlay here, so that's gotta be.
No, I haven't got one, I'd have to go get it.
Maybe it's custodian.
Okay.
So, yeah, I think, like I say, when I went out and looked at it, you go down about 2 sections farther, and there's more that's sinking and cracking, and we're filling it with gravel. We might as well just go ahead and get that done.
Do you know what's causing it to sink? Is it something around that manhole?
No, this is farther down.
This is further down, that's probably all the salt and stuff over the years, I mean, if you look at it, like, you can tell where they attached it, and I tried to patch it, it just goes out.
Right.
I just threw some pea gravel in it.
The rest of the parking lot in good condition?
For the most part, they've not as needy as that.
Yeah, I'm fine with it. You've got the money saved up for it, so I'm fine with it. Do you have an idea of what the grand total will be?
When I talked to John, well, I just found out about going on a little bit further.
So you have to calculate that.
John said his end would be no more than $2,000. Because we were talking about maybe $500 for the rain and that stuff, and then I said, so I just found $2,000, he goes, oh, that's plenty, so. And he would get eyes of Barbara and we'll get out for her.
And we only got the one bid
Nobody else is around town
around.
that I know of. I mean, Sullivan retired. Kip Namerson can't get to it until next year.
Right. There are other people in the county though.
Okay.
And I think it would be to our benefit to at least get 2 bids.
Okay.
I can give you the name of Kyle Taylor, yeah, Hoyt, Kyle Taylor. They've been doing concrete for 20 plus years. Maybe interested in bidding on it. I don't know what would be any cheaper. I think it's best practice to do a second bid.
I haven't told him, but
Yeah, no, I appreciate that.
you mentioned one.
McLean concrete.
Yeah,
And I talked to Kip about one, I can't think who it was. He's not ready for a project that big.
And it might be this one, he's just getting started on it.
Stack, 580-1917. I'll give him a shot.
Yep.
And I talked to Chuck this morning. As soon as he can get to it, it'll be late August.
I'd like to table this until we get a second bid. And, if that's
Go get a
okay
second
with you
bid and
guys.
get that other part
Yeah.
of it into the
We'll
wire.
have Chuck come back out and do that extra.
Yeah.
Kyle.
Yep.
We'll work that.
Okay.
Hopefully all we get back to you Monday and then we'll get this thing going. All right.
Okay. Thank you, Pat.
Thanks, sir. Real quick. I think everybody got an email from Farm Bureau about the dinner on the 16th. So just making sure you're all aware of that. She does need an RSVP. Donna does, so I'm sure you all got her email. So. And let's see, we have a proclamation from the governor for the disaster emergency proclamation for the storms that came through beginning June 20th. We are on that list. I don't know that we need to do anything now for that, or this will just allow for emergency services to start the process and try and get some money for that. I don't believe we need to take any action on this.
No, I don't think so, but I take a look at it.
Yeah, we have a couple payroll changes here for the sheriff's office. Couple of resignations.
Thank you.
We have communication here. Apparently, we had a lady contact the clerk's office about the lot in Netawaka that the sheriff owns. I believe, as you said, he's kept a hold of that because of possibly putting a
Substation.
up there. And I believe that she would have to get a hold of the sheriff's office and communicate with him over that, whether he wants to get rid of it or not.
Oh, whether he wants to sell it or not.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
my recommendation that you contact her back and tell her to contact the sheriff's office to see if he wants to take care of doing anything with that. So,
I mean,
The sheriff himself owned it, was the sheriff?
the county owns it. So,
County
so
owns
the
it.
conversation, would be that, Tim, are you still interested in your having to pay somebody to mow it?
Yeah.
Would this be the time to maybe sell it? And then if he says yes, then we would be the ones to actually
Right.
sell it. Correct, Todd?
Yeah, that's, I just didn't,
It was on delinquent tax sale and the sheriff wanted it to sell back a long time ago. The sheriff wanted it, so county kept it.
yeah, I think this lady contacted me about it, and I was.
Yeah, actually, we
figure out, it wasn't in the last sale, because
We
No,
can
it
reach out
wasn't.
to
It's
Tim later
been
this
several
morning,
years ago.
see if he's interested in selling that.
Yeah.
Make a decision today on it instead of,
I think he's been asked different.
we've asked.
well, I think you have to look at the title, because there's a difference between, well, I just,
It's Mark, I don't see
you can't
anything.
just look into
They
the
got it.
audio process. Is it bid? Okay, not,
So you're good.
it might take some looking, because I think the procedure is different if there was no bid versus an active actual purchase. Because the last time you did that, you guys didn't, you just let, sold for whatever, right?
Right.
It wasn't,
Just so we could get fair market value.
yeah, it's,
Okay, I got 9:15. How you doing? Good. What's going on with Road and Bridge?
No, things moving smoothly, of course. We had a town hall meeting last Monday, which I'm sure you guys are aware. We're putting something together, so we want ourselves accountable for that. It's like it's to help.
And then would Jennifer be able to take the email addresses of those that were there, that we could send that progress out once?
I don't know if they'll
Order.
do it for or not, but we'll.
Somebody.
Yeah.
Oh, were you gonna do it? Okay, thank you for doing that, I appreciate it. But yeah, I think it'd be beneficial within a couple of months, whatever, that they get that.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, maybe not last time, but we'll just present that to the people there is.
Are you still using the color-coded system that we've used for the last several years where,
Yellow and green.
yeah, whenever we get a call that you can log that and determine, okay, it's been looked at, in progress, complete, that type of thing? Okay, thank you.
We're supposed to get HADI last Monday, it didn't come, and we don't know why, we're calling about that today. We'll know more about that today.
So Apache's on hold until we get that.
They still have some, so they're still able to go. But right now, we're doing asphalt stuff anyways.
Okay.
FEMA came Tuesday, and we escorted them around. The state has hit the threshold to get money back, and I believe we did too, because county also, I'm 98% sure we did. But it hasn't presented us any numbers yet, but we'll either get a lot or we'll get zero. There's nothing in between. But it has to be approved way up in the echelon, maybe even the president, the way they describe it. So we'll know more about that.
Okay.
But they came with everything. We didn't get to go. We didn't get to go see the Parmesan on Tuesday because of that.
Okay.
I would like to go, still check it out and talk to the guys about it.
Yeah. I think it's worth going and take a look at it.
I wish I could have seen what the road, and I'm sure they got pictures, and we didn't see the application, but it's still, yeah, I think I agree.
Another project, maybe another project.
Sure, I think there's another upcoming, get a hold of them again to see, maybe even ground or something. So the iWork system, we had a Teams call with them on Wednesday, and they're gonna talk to us again. It's kind of like another one of the STARS programs, but bigger and designed differently. But they're going to talk to us again in 2 weeks on the 21st because the stuff that I thought Jennifer, there's some stuff I thought she said see before we pursue it. And they're supposed to send us pricing and stuff they didn't. So we had Jennifer off last week. Jennifer was off, and our Mary's on part-time, so we had a missed coverage of phone calls because I couldn't stay in the house all day. So I know there's some complaints about that. I don't know what the answer to that is when Jennifer's gone.
Well, we do have the answering machine, correct?
There is an answering machine,
Yeah.
we get to it when we can, but there's, people are complaining about it. They're used to us being pretty vigilant on the phone, so.
Can they transfer to the shop?
Yeah, but they're out.
Yeah,
By the time they get to the phone, it's already
Okay.
to voicemail. They're all out. I
Okay.
mean, if he's at the desk, it would work, but, and he does. It rings good, doesn't it?
No, she'd have to transfer it.
Well, there might be a way to do that, but it could be sometimes fixed. But it's something we have to work through, especially when we lose that position later on.
Well, but there's a couple of different solutions I see. One is a handheld phone that can be carried around by someone from the shop. And whenever there's no one on the phone, it just rolls over to that handheld. I think the complaints that I've gotten is that no one ever calls back and says, hey, got your complaint, got your road concern, we have prioritized it, we're either going to get to it right away or we're not going to get to it for a little while. That's the complaint that no one ever calls back. I've probably gotten 10 phone calls in the last 2 weeks that no one's calling back. And it's people just want that communication of, hey, we recognize we got it, we're aware of it, but this is where it'll fit into our list of priorities. That goes a long ways with people. The other solution or fix with that, if you're not going to have any coverage, would be to pull somebody. If we're not hauling a lot of gravel, maybe we pull a truck driver in. You're going to answer the phone today. If they say that's not their job, any job out there should be their job. when you're hired in, you work for Jackson County Road and Bridge. I think there would be some flexibility. I can't imagine that anybody would refuse, but, you know,
I think, on that, I think that, that hasn't even happened, so
what hasn't?
as far as saying, sitting in the office and answering phones is not my job, so I think that would be something that we would address if it did happen. Rather than, yeah, I mean, they could put the cart before the horse there, so.
So anyway, using other personnel that are either, not as busy or not mowing right away, so it just would not be somebody off the maintainer.
And I agree with you. It just didn't work out this past few days.
Yeah.
It is a solution for solutions.
Yeah. A couple of different things that can be done.
So last week they did an entrance pipe at WN 228. There's an installation and a 20-foot extension. This week they're going to finish hauling that oversized from HN 262. They're just using that to fill ditches in the area around there. So for one of our dings on our safety inspection, it was the poles out there. They cut the electricity out there and we moved the poles from, so we didn't cut a lot of, we didn't change it out for them, so they're still a couple weeks out, so we're going to wait a couple weeks before we do that, so it's just too much for reason. Okay, but it's ready for that. Last week they did 3 truckloads of asphalt, one at R4 and 214, and they did Jackson Heights area, and then they did the bridges on 254. This week, B4 and 198, I'm going to put a box in there, and then last thing, sorry for doing time cards things for a few weeks. And I put in probably 3 or 4 hours a week on it, just making changes and alterations and stuff. It's working for the most part, but it is time consuming for me and Jennifer, making changes and stuff. So, I put them, she wasn't there last week, so I would say I probably put in 5 hours on it last week.
Changes in what way? You mean to
Like, if people are in Delia and they can't, they like, pretty much Netawaka and Whiting both doesn't work great out there, and Delia doesn't work great. Just large portions of our county it doesn't work.
Just do no signal.
Mostly, and then some of the phones, like Bryson doing,
I've only got it work twice since we've installed.
and it's not his phone, it's just like ours. And I've seen it, I've watched, it's not just him saying it, which we wouldn't do that anyways, but, some people might, but I've seen it personally on his, it's just, there's some bugs to work out still, and it's been a great time consuming.
Have you ever visited with Mary about it? Try to work out, see if she has some help to work through the bug organizer.
And I will say, I know that when the school went to their new system, clocking in and out on the phones, that you have to be within a certain area, standing darn near right underneath the modem to be able to get signal to do it, even though it's on wireless. So it's kind of I do understand what you're saying there, because there are a lot of bugs to work out before you put that in. So yeah, talk to Mary and Aaron and see what they can come up with, and we have to do something with Giant, and we'll worry about that.
That was all that I had. Okay, what do you want to talk about?
I've got just road concerns. So Aaron Seifert. Aaron Seifert on 110, just west of 75 Highway, about a half a mile. He asked a couple of years ago if trucks entering the roadway or highway to be put up. So his driveway is right on top of the hill, and people come over that. He has, he's hauling cattle in and out of there, and he's about got hit several times, and he just wondered if somebody could take a look at that. And
What is it that he wants?
trucks entering highway or roadway signage. Yeah. And then I also suggested to him that he reach out to the sheriff's department. They can set up. He said the traffic is awful fast, so the only alternative to that is to have the sheriff take a look at that. But if you want to take a look at it and see what you think, I think it's the biggest problem is traffic coming from the west to the east. Probably more commuter traffic morning and afternoon. But they feed a lot of cattle. So somebody may be pulling out with a feed wagon and tractor, be over the hill, and nobody sees them, that type of thing. So I would say something to you and let you evaluate it and determine what you think needs to be done, or if there is something we can do short of writing. Anyway.
I did have two also. T Road from 254 to 116 intersection. There's a lot of secondary ditches getting cut in the road. There's just a little lip on there. The water's not getting off into the ditch. So, and it's also on the Lake Road. That's the same way there too. And I know that's dust controlled, so we're not going to be able to do much with that. But there's, the secondary ditches are starting in there also. And then on U from 16 to about 190th, same thing. Secondary ditches are getting started. I know they're getting started all over. We need to have the operators, make sure that they're getting those lips off so that the water can get to the ditch rather than staying in the road with it. So, you got anything?
I don't.
And the second thing I had was Lonnie Hanson. Did you get a hold of him about the two down there? Okay, that situation's taken care of.
Yes. It's not taken care of. We have a plan.
You have a plan. There you go. And I'll echo what Mark said. I don't know that you have to put the blade all the way down across the road to take some of those out. It would appear to me that you can just take those lips off, roll it back over into that little secondary ditch without disturbing the entire road and cutting that shoulder off. But there's got to be a solution to that, and they're getting pretty bad all over the county.
Once we get the drainage back, it'll help a lot. It's just going to wet.
It has.
If we get those ditches, it's going to save us a lot of money in the future. So that's what we're working towards.
One of the things that was brought up at the township meeting the other night was a device that cleans the ditch and augers it straight into the truck. I think it's worth at least taking a look at something like that, because if that speeds that process up and it becomes more of a two-man operation, do you feel comfortable or want to take a look and research that type of equipment?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I've kind of looked at it, but I've dived into it yet. But,
Okay.
Something was on my radar already. So.
Okay.
Matt, you've been around long enough. Matt indicated that we had something like this in the past.
Yeah, we had, more or less a belt conveyor, had the auger in the front. You windrow it out, and then you drive, pick up that windrow, and run it into the dump truck.
Okay, so the one that we had just wore out and was in the
They just stock got rid of it on one of the Purple Wave sales, and away it went. Yeah.
But I think it was a piece that was converted, correct me if I'm wrong, that wasn't its initial use.
No, that's what it was designed to do. It had a real auger up the front, brought it to the center conveyor belt, run it up.
Yeah, I think what was mentioned across the hall the other night was a device that actually does the digging, so it eliminates the road grader altogether. You're not bringing all that junk into the road, so it's augering it right out of the ditch into a truck. That's what I was hearing the gentleman talk about.
Yeah, that's what he said. I haven't found that particular thing, but I'll
Okay. Be worth checking into.
yeah, I still need to.
Okay.
So did anybody visit with the couple of grader operators that were brought across?
You know, they scattered quick.
Like the couple of grader operators, like, you know,
Like I
do you area in the Netawaka area?
No, they absolutely. I know who that guy is, so I'll reach out to him. But no, it was a meeting with
No,
our.
I meant to the grader operator,
About
about sitting in the fire station or
Oh,
about their jobs,
yes.
their performance, I guess.
Yeah. Are we gonna go to?
That would be an executive session if you want to do that.
No, that's fine, I
I
just,
mean, I don't have a
Might as
problem.
well go ahead and talk about it, so yeah, let's go to executive session, get it taken care of.
that's fine. I mean,
Did you,
I was-
did this gentleman have some?
But let's go.
He's here.
That's
That'd be a mark.
What's that?
Want to keep him waiting around while we're doing it.
The guy from Manchester is here to talk about the project. I'll do that first.
Yeah, let's go and get that done first, rather than.
And I don't know, we're gonna talk about the bridge contracts. I got the Shawnee County Bridge and
last week.
DG.
Yeah.
Last week.
Just trying to.
Daycraft. Yes, sir. So I entertain a motion to add the representative from Daycraft to the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Been properly moved and seconded to add Daycraft representative to the agenda. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Come on up, buddy. Bring your chair. You don't need to stand.
No, I've been sitting all morning. We're getting ready to start Chipso project, 1st of August. So I'm reaching out to my vendors, my distributors. Unfortunately, we had a price hike in our oil since bid day to now of 30 cents a gallon. This project is going to require approximately 50,000 gallons of oil, so that's going to be a change order of approximately $15,000. So I wanted to bring proof. I spoke with Joe. He said bring my quotes. I don't know who wants to look at them, if anybody.
Yeah, we'll go and take a look at them.
But it's about 30 cents a gallon difference. The rock, the aggregate hasn't changed, thankfully.
So this price is what up to Van Brothers for all our customers? I would guess.
Well, it's hard to say. I'm a competitor. I've beat
Yeah.
them twice, 3 times this year, so I'm afraid that I don't want
No, I know.
to make an accusation, but
And
regardless,
that's the only place that we get oil from.
it's the closest for sure.
What is, just out of curiosity, Vance down on 24 Highway? Did
Yeah, so
they?
they buy the oil from Vance Brothers
They
as
do.
well.
Okay.
That is actually no longer doing chip seal. I know they bought a place out of Kansas City that does, but I think they're completely out of chip seal.
Okay. So I didn't know that was an option for you to buy.
No, and I try to buy tack oil for asphalt and they won't sell it.
Really?
And if they would, they're going to be, I might as well drive to Kansas City again.
They're going to charge it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm fine with it.
So I'd entertain a motion to approve the change order for Daycraft for the oil.
So moved.
Second.
So I just need to put that in as a line item.
Yeah. So it's been properly moved and seconded to approve the change order for Daycraft for the oil price increase. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carried. All right. Thanks, sir. Appreciate it.
Okay, thank you guys. Look forward to helping.
Mike's free to leave.
Yeah, you're good. Thank you.
Thanks, Joe.
I move we're going to take the session for the purpose of personnel matters, now elected personnel for a period of 15 minutes, starting at 9:36, turning at 9:51, is that right? Yep. And in this room, about 14 performance.
Who's present?
What's that?
Who's present or not present?
I'm sorry, Joe and our attorney and Bryson, I'm sorry, yeah.
Here a second.
Second.
Okay, probably moving second, go into executive session for 15 minutes for the purpose of a non-elected personnel employee performance to reopen this room. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign, motion carried.
Who did you talk to?
I don't know his name,
Okay.
but
Paul.
it was one, I think I talked to Joe and then at the one at Kansas City, there's 3 of them. There's 3 locations.
There's 2 that I'm aware of. There's one on the Kansas side, kind of a new deal they built, and then.
They had to transfer me to a service tech that road service is what it was constructed for.
All right, did you look over everything for the bridges that we were discussing last week?
You got, first off, the easy one is the Shawnee County
Yes.
joint contract, and that was fine. I think we talked about this before, the only thing that's not apparently according to the taxes is the right-of-way acquisition, because you guys are paying the same amount as they are. I don't know if the statute says that, but it makes logical sense in some respects, you know what I mean?
Well, the way he described it was the ones on our side we would do and the ones on their side they would do.
Yeah, and that's been, I understand it's been
Contractor.
yeah, and it's just, they're just trying to put an investment on it, but it's just a weird thing because everything's supposed to be according to this 94 versus 6 kind of percentage, and that isn't. So, but I think it's correct to do it that way since it is the property, and if it gets forced, Shawnee County couldn't condemn Jackson County property because it's going to force it. So, I mean, it's one of the weird things about this, but it makes logical sense. So, with that, I think it's good. Good. The DG, I think there's my standard warning, and I don't think Joe's heard this, but they're in there, and it's not in this contract, but down the road, they'll be doing construction observations. And those, they don't tell you this, it's not really clear, but that's not inspection for the county. That inspection is for the engineer in reality. I mean, it's a strange, yes, it says what they do is they have an inspector who's out there and he's tracking, materials, and weather days, and things like that. But he's not there to kind of call out things. And if you actually read the contract over the construction observation, you actually read the language, it makes it quite clear that they're there to cover the engineering side, protect EG in essence. So I always tell folks, and this is you guys got internal guys to do it, that's great, just to have somebody there who's an inspector. And they can't, they're not there to approve anything or do anything, they're there to watch and check. And because honestly, you can't sit back and say, well, there's a problem later on, and you say, where was the inspector?
They're not an inspector for us.
Well, yeah, they're gonna, and it really gets nasty, they're gonna pull back. And I really haven't had a big problem with it, I think everybody needs to know that, because that's the way those things are written up. And you've gotta know that the county's the owner, there's a contractor who's gonna be a contractor, we don't know the name, and he's an engineer. Those relationships are weird, and I know that a lot of municipalities start to think that the engineer's on their side. Contractually, they're not. So it's just kind of a warning just to remember that just because engineers are doing all this stuff, that you're not protected. And you get somebody on the ground.
So, I understand what you're saying, but I don't know what to do with this information. Are you saying we need to have our own person, or?
Well, I don't know the answer to that because I don't know what the technical aspects. I mean, I think you can, if you're doing something that somebody understands, you can look at it and say, I can see they're doing the right thing here. I don't, having somebody on staff who does that, there's somebody there to do that, that's not a problem, just say, you gotta go out there and inspect it. If there's not, then you have to think about independent
So
inspection.
you would have Matt then go out and just look at periodically when they're doing the process to make sure that, okay, are they building it correctly? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, and I'm saying you're not, I mean, I don't expect them to go up there to do engineering. I'm expecting them to just look at things with an experienced eye to say, this is not right, right? Catch the things before they happen, or to just be around if something weird happens, or somebody can say, we need to make a change to that, and then you'll get a change order here. They'll have the engineer and maybe the resident project representative, who's, they call it the RPR, that's their inspector, and then the contractor, and they're all three saying this needs to be done.
Well, is it okay? I've got a question. It's maybe a stupid question, but is this not the way that we've done this in the standard contract for BG forever, or what? I mean, I'm just curious.
It's, you guys have been doing it forever, and the chances that it's going to be this time and it's going to bite you, who knows? This comes from a case that I had in Scranton, where there was kind of a snafu in a couple of areas. I mean, obviously, like the lines, the water lines, and they weren't very deep enough. They were, the specification said below 36 inches, up to 42 inches, and they were 12 inches, 18 inches, right? So things that are not like fantastic engineering complex things, it's just looking at a trench and seeing that it's actually only a foot deep, right? So, but that was where I said, okay, so who's out there putting eyes on this thing? It's the engineer and the resident project representative. So I said, well, how do I get, and there was also a question about who's authorized to make changes. There were some change orders. And that all got confused because the city thought that the engineer and the project representative were measuring things and determining things that they weren't. The RPR was sitting there looking at the weather and saying how many yards of PVC are being used. That's it. And so, it came time to say, okay, well, where's my inspection? It has these got Washington area line 12 inches. It wasn't there. So it's just like it went okay because of other factors. And this may not be the one that comes up. But I'm just saying, the fact of the matter is that when you actually look at the contract, contracts in detail. There are a lot of nuances that put you guys in a position where if you think that the RPR is sitting there, looking at the trench depth, he's not. Or at least you can't count it. And you can either go to them and say, I want to change the contract so that the RPR is doing real stuff, or real stuff for us, or you get somebody internally who can inspect it, or you get a professional outside. If you're concerned. I don't have a good answer otherwise, because
So he's just making you aware.
yeah, this is just an observation of a possibility, because like you said, you guys take it for granted, I think, maybe, that I reached the part that the RPR was your guy, and he was pushing, he was on board with you.
Is it always that way in the contract, or can we rewrite the contract and say, hey, on this particular job, we want you to be representing us?
I think that's when that contract comes around, yeah, you can make changes.
Because typically the only time, sorry to interrupt you, typically the only time would be on our bridge, right?
Well, I don't know if you do road, that's so basic, yeah, you don't engineer those too much. Yeah, it would probably be it, that would be it.
Okay, so I've got another question here. So, on page 14, I believe it is here, under construction phase services, D.
Okay, what you did,
Construction phase services, number one, the consultant, who is BG, correct?
yes,
Shall provide construction contract administration and construction observation services for the project during the course of construction, including organize and attend pre-construction, review contractor submittals for general confirmation with project demands. So wouldn't that be for change orders there?
well, pre-construction meeting, which number are you on?
Number 3,
Yeah.
that would be for the change
Well,
orders,
but
correct?
that's conformance with his design.
So the contractor who's going, but the contractor who's going to be putting it in, if he has to have a change order, he's going to be getting with
Yeah.
BG Consultants
Yeah.
under this.
Yes, I agree completely.
Okay.
That's a great question, because that's where this breaks down, right?
Okay.
Who's approving the change orders? Now, yeah, you get an official change order, you guys will get it signed by the engineer, and that's good, in the contract, that's good. But that doesn't always cover, see, what happens when it still is conforming to the design, and they're standing out there and making a decision on something that changes the way it's done. It doesn't change the cost, but is a problem. And you guys don't know that, because there's no change order, but there was a change. There's a dozen different ways this thing can be changed without ever getting a change order. There's field orders, there's shop drawings, there's, and that's, again, this is the strand of this.
So then would that come under number 4, compile logs of daily site activities and project progress?
Yeah, I've seen those logs. Those logs are two things. Whether it's raining today, no activity on site, or over here, there's activity, not over here. The second one is 2,000 feet of PVC pipeline. So our tally on our sheet that shows what's used has been shown to be used. That's it.
And there again, I believe that we're going to have our guys out there
Yeah, well,
at random times or, whatever, observing what's going on,
Yeah.
because they're going to be working hand in hand, right?
well, I don't know what you guys do on this.
Yeah.
Bridge?
Anytime bridge?
On bridge?
Yeah.
Anytime work was done, Matt will go out there at least once a day, and not just Matt, but some of our senior lead workers would go out there as well. But I don't know that they're qualified to judge engineer work. But they,
Well, no, I think what you're saying is they're not really judging engineering work. They're judging whether, if there is a water line going by, well,
that they definitely do.
okay, you can still see your 12-inch PVC on it.
That went up to W for every single day they were working. He wasn't there 24/7, but
Yeah.
every day he was there, seeing how it's going along and making sure they're sticking to what they're supposed to do.
Sounds like we've got that covered.
Well, and that would be I think what you were asking is that this is a broad-based document. There's going to be a point in time when the real contracts are going to be done for the project itself. It's going to have, I think they're going to have a different contract. They're going to have the RPR have a contract that is all signed, and the contractor signing this contract. That's going to be the and that's when you have an opportunity to really see what they're doing and maybe make changes if you need to. And I think what I'm saying here is that sometimes these things are pretty obvious. This isn't like, massive engineering thing. This is just somebody being like cut corners and you can see it, right? And that's what we really want to try to avoid. But it happens, and it happened. And I went to the engineers who are pros, and I said, "What happened?" And they just went to truck controllers.
Yep.
And contract is not always your friend in those circumstances. So that's why I'm kind of putting this out as a warning.
Yeah, that's good advice.
Okay.
And then, this is just a design phase kind of thing, but let's just put it this. They don't have the standard attachment to the contract for your guys' provisions, right? Additional provisions. And we're looking at 9 of 17, page 5, paragraph 5.9.1. This is standard. Client's exclusive remedy for any alleged breach of standard of care hereinafter render shall require consultant to re-perform any defective services. Notwithstanding any other provision of this agreement, the total liability of the consultant, opposition directors, for any claims or judgments under this is $250,000. And all claims shall be relinquished as filed. This is their standard limitation. And BG puts this in all their contracts. And our firm has objected repeatedly so much that there is a contract that will see this patent on it. It'll say Stumbo contract. So, which doesn't have that liability. That's different.
And I believe that Lee brought that up one time too, and we got that changed, raised, eliminated, whatever, I think.
Yeah.
For
Well, I think it's kind of in the standard terms, but this kind of puts that in a real problem because you got two competing terms. My preference would be is to have them do the similar contract.
Okay.
And that changes that to I can't remember if it's like it takes out that first part, it's like a maximum limitation. And honestly, they said they credit the fact that it changes the price because that's a result of an insurance thing, right? Insurance says you keep this in here, this is cost to us. You don't, your premium goes up. So, and I don't doubt it a bit, but that's the trade-off.
Right.
So I don't know if you. I think I've never dealt with Brady Hedstrom before, but I'd probably contact him and say,
Check that out.
Dr. Brian Foster, that would be up the Stumbo contract.
That would probably be the path we would revisit.
Okay. So those were the rest were pretty simple. want to make that change and then get that to you guys.
Okay. But you have no problem with Shawnee County? So if not, I entertain a motion to approve the contract with Shawnee County for the bridge replacement over the tributary Big Soldier Creek at Northwest 94th.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, properly moved and seconded to approve contract with Shawnee County for the bridge replacement over a tributary to the Big Soldier Creek at Northwest 94th in the amount of Jackson County share of $49,695.60. And that was to come out of the bridge fund. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign, motion carried. You got a copy of that, right? And we will table the BG contract until you make those changes in them. All right. Anything else, guys?
Well,
All right, thank you, appreciate it.
Want me to get a sign?
no sausage is made.
Have a great day.
All right, have a good day, guys. Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
That, yes, but we scheduled it for 3 to 6 on Tuesday. And there was the possibility
We have here a request from Jackson Heights Coverbackers. I don't think we've ever done any of those for any of the three schools, have we?
I don't know what.
The Coverbackers for membership application for Coverbackers for getting on their program and so on and so forth. I don't think we've ever done that for any of the three schools.
Advanced voting site.
Yeah, the CCLA, which is all schools combined, and then the Armstrongs was the other thing that I know of.
we have a box outside of the building as well, for people to receive their email.
Any cake coming in?
This is a
Supposed to be,
site.
apparently. Not, yeah, it'll be in our enterprise facilitation.
They're not, they are, it's an advanced voting site. It's a time period allowed for laws. I think I read that as being, if somebody could come in and put a ballot in a box, well, that's a good catch.
Okay. Joe.
He's just in the meetings. And, I can't
Can't be advocated
Yes.
for.
Right.
Or, I would say that that's aspect of the budget. Not saying, yeah, we should do it, we shouldn't.
Here is the minutes from, and information from solid waste for their meeting they had. Here's those two.
This is where
Oh, so we can't do that at the budget meeting. Okay. And that starts today,
Monday.
next Monday,
Yeah. The 20th.
20th, okay. So how does that affect anybody who goes into break? Will that be this week and this next Monday, everyone? Got a question? Okay. Perfect. Okay.
Not getting arrested.
Electioneering. We can't talk about 4% after
Sorry,
Monday, next Monday.
20th.
Well, you can't advocate or see you advocating for it.
Yeah.
Or against it.
Oh, no kidding.
Well, Todd, we might as well start with you. What you got?
Well, I think I got Kurt's question here, and I know. Did you talk about that the last meeting or anything about alcohol?
No.
Okay. Well, he's just saying I guess as I understand what he's saying here, is that we have a policy, I think, that says that if you have obviously if you have a caterer or a temporary permit holder there to sell, that it's okay if you don't need insurance because presumably they are going to be liable, but we do have, if there's bring your own BYOB thing going on, you have to have an insurance coverage.
Mm-hmm.
So
This is out in the lake.
yeah, at the building.
Event center.
Event center. And you say that's expensive for folks? I don't know. And,
Rocking.
what if they? I guess he's asking what if they have no open bar? No insurance, not an open bar. So what his question is. Would like to not have an insurance requirement if not an open bar.
No.
I suppose that, I mean,
So what he's saying is there's an open bar, that individual has to have insurance, if people bring their own cooler in, they don't have to have insurance.
yeah,
So lots of weddings typically have an open bar.
and I think as soon as you start selling beverage insurance, you have to have a caterer's license or it's just illegal.
But just an open bar where, yeah, all free.
Yeah, and and the person who's there is not licensed, it's temporary. I mean, I think there's probably a distinction. I mean, you just say, we're having this event, you gotta bring your own stuff. That's, I think, technically different than somebody say, I'm buying a bus beer and lots of wine, and basically I'm gonna be providing that, and you guys are bring something else you can, but that's all.
So then what is the distinction between BYOB, where they're selling setups, versus, I mean,
Giving it away?
yeah. I mean, so you're selling setups, you're not selling liquor because it's BYOB, but you are selling setups.
Well, I don't think there's any, I mean, I just don't think that's regulated at all, except.
Okay.
And I would have, I think the real problem is, in Kansas doesn't have what they call a dram shop law, meaning that providers are necessarily liable for, drink driving incident or something like that. But, it's always one of those questions of who wants to be the first to
Yeah.
find out.
Yeah.
So the issue is that somebody, I mean, if you basically say you can bring your own drinks and we don't care, but you can't, you're not selling, you're not giving away. Everybody's got to bring their own in some respects. And, you still got to have insurance because what if somebody gets drunk and hurts them? Get insured themselves.
Mm-hmm.
You guys have a lot of Kansas Tort Claims Act protections, it's a recreation area, you didn't sell it, all those kind of things. But, so you're just kind of weighing some very extreme circumstances against what could be possible. And I don't really have, I don't think that there's a legal reason one way or the other. I think it's a practical question whether you guys want to take that risk. Somebody who's giving away, who has a wedding, said, I'm providing all the food or whatever. Nobody's bringing, you don't really have to bring anything in, and it's free, and we're just giving it away. Somebody gets hurt, what happens? Well, there wasn't a transaction, is the provider, is the guy who's renting liable? Maybe. You guys even was left after that? Maybe. So, I think part of it is that I don't think there's a requirement that you do it unless it's being sold. You just have to worry about the liability. And maybe that's not a big concern.
And so Kurt's question then is, do we have to have the insurance?
Yeah, if it's an open policy. It's not an open policy.
And your answer is no.
No.
Yeah, I wouldn't see where we would have to.
Well, you don't have to, it's just another little layer of liability for, I don't know what the cost is. Nobody just told me. Yeah, it's $6,000, I agree, that's crazy.
What if within that contract, because people sign a contract to perform a wedding out there, or whatever they sign off, that just says within that contract, you're liable for, however attorney lives.
Yeah, you assume liability, or you indemnify the county. Yeah, that could
For
be.
all alcohol,
Related, yeah.
provided or related to
We
this
can
event.
do that.
I think that's
I
the,
think that's the smartest thing to do.
and then
That's
Just puts it
one
on
time
the
I
inside.
looked at it, draft. I'll take a look at that, see if I can alter agreement to identify.
okay.
Okay. The rest are, actually probably executive session.
Okay, can we hold off on you?
Yeah,
Link the
yeah,
reasons
that's
right
right.
now. Okay. Teresa,
Let's get other people out of that.
come on up. we'll get that taken care of, then we'll do it.
Hello.
How are you?
Good. How are you guys?
Great.
Good.
Short weekend, right? It's too
They're
short.
all the same, they're all the same.
Thank you.
They're always too short. Even the long ones are too short. Thank you. I know after 4th of July, it just seems like back to school's here late.
1 month.
Sure. Well, I'm Teresa McAnerney with Northeast Kansas Enterprise Facilitation, so I've met some of you, but not all of you. And this is our new director of Glacial Hills, which is our umbrella agency. That's our financial fiscal sponsor, Lynn Goodman. So I don't know if you know Lynn. Lynn's been around for a long time, and she took Gary Satter's place. So we have new directorship. So exciting.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you. And so, enterprise facilitation, real quickly, we've been around since 2003, so we're old. We've been here for a long time. And during that time, we've built a really powerful web of connections and resources, tried and true, and a lot of entrepreneurs. And so we're a nonprofit, and we offer free and confidential business coaching to anyone living in our 5 counties that we cover, which is Atchison, Brown, Donovan, Jackson, and Emon. And same 5 counties we've always covered. And last year, Jackson kind of thought they were going to bow out a little bit. And so, but we kept covering them, mostly because we always have. And I've got so many people here that call me all the time. I didn't have the heart, even though my board now is kind of reining me in, to cut people off after we've worked together for years. And new people that need our help. So, someone who calls with an idea, I mean, our services range, everybody's different, right? We're very person-centered. And so that's kind of what separates us from the governmental agencies. We, we'll meet over a kitchen table in the evening, because a lot of people work in the daytime or weekends, and we'll go over financial forecasting, ideas, feasibility, marketing ideas, product development, whatever. Everyone's at a different spot. Every person that calls in is at a different place. And so we're very one-on-one person-centered. That makes us very different. We focus on the Trinity management, getting what they do well is what they're going to focus on, and then helping them fill in the gaps for usually it's financial management and marketing where they need some filling, need some professional help or some good resources at least. And so we stick with their budget friendly. I am the only paid person in these 5 counties, and I have a board that I serve, a community resource board, which you're all welcome to join. Got about 69, 70 members on that resource board, and they're professionals from all 5 counties, and they all come together to brainstorm for clients. So it's super unique, right? I mean, you couldn't pay for that. Say, hey, let's get a bunch of, folks together and help us. So that's basically our program. I mean, did I cover that?
I would like to add, one thing that really sets this program apart is that it's not a top-down model, it's a bottom-up grassroots. So the client has to come back to Teresa to get what they need. And if you look at rural development or even in Africa and how we have sent food over to Africa for years, they're learning when you shove help at people, it creates false economies and it creates disincentives. And so this program is very different in that she has access to every resource available, but she definitely lets the client lead the process, and then we'll ask tweaks like, are you sure you want to do this? I've seen this risk happen, and this happened. And they can talk about certain case type businesses that we've all seen come up and go down. So she gets to teach one-on-one, but then be pulled by the client, which is a much more successful model than some of our government programming.
And I think I agree with you, also to the point that I think sometimes individuals who could have some skin in the game too. So when you put something out, and you're trying to create a business and you're asking for somebody to advise you on that, and now I've had to pay for that service. So my recommendation, would be come up with a fee for individuals who want to meet with you. And we'll meet with you, and that fee would be X number of dollars for the first visit, or you get, for this number of dollars, you get my initial consultation and 5 others. Because I really believe when somebody is invested, they're going to follow through with stuff more than likely. When it's free and the county's paying for it,
I can speak to that because I've been a farm management consultant for 25 years, and so I'm fee only. And what's different, when I work with farms, I have a lot of equity sitting there. There's cash flow, there's things moving. When you're working with the Main Street businesses, the dollars involved are very small, and the wherewithal is very small. And typically the education level of the people are very small. And so this is more of an area for mission to develop your hometown people into the business owners you need. Because when they come at you first, they're not going to have the financial wherewithal to pay for that consulting. That's insurmountable.
It could be a barrier. That could be a barrier. Budget's so small businesses, it is like every penny. And I think that's what makes us attractive is that we're free and confidential. And we're a step away, so they know they can tell us. In rural areas, nobody wants to tell what they're doing, right? I mean, small towns.
Yeah.
And so we're a step away. But I know what you're saying. And a lot of times I'll sit down and do 2 hours or 3 hours on a financial forecast that's pretty complex. And at the end, they're like, how much do I owe you? And I'm like, thank your commissioners. Thank our funders because they make our program possible. It adds something for you to offer your citizens to your people. I do get that a lot, and I see what you're saying, and we talked about maybe the more successful businesses, we have a lot of successes giving back, because we're nonprofit, they can give back to us as much as they want. Right, but that barrier at the beginning,
so
it's real.
I would tell you, I'm a small business owner, and I reached out to a consulting firm, and I paid for that service when I started out. It's part of doing business, in my opinion. So
it just depends on the level and the business, and I have a lot of folks that are very capable, but they still want more resources to pull. And one nice thing about our service is we don't cut anybody off. Okay, I've already met with you 5 times or whatever.
right.
I was looking at, we keep track of all of our contacts. It's listed here. And it's funny because I have some clients, I've been here 16 years, right? So I've got some clients that have met with over 100 times. And you know what? They're the most successful. I mean, they are gangbusters. But it's such a nice, I feel like it's a benefit to living in one of these counties. In fact, they wrote a book about it, If You Could Live Anywhere, from Main Street. I said, Melody, I can send it to you.
Yeah.
But anyway, there's a book about Kansas and Northeast Kansas, and start a business. If you want to start a business, come to Northeast Kansas because of our resources. And they highlighted our program, so it's kind of exciting to be, in this Main Street America book that's pretty widely sold. But good point. I mean, I see your point. Yeah. And so the numbers, since we've been around so long, and Jackson has been very robust in the years. 11, we do, and Lynn alluded to this, we do not go door to door. I mean, I'm the only person in 5 counties, so I'm not going to go knock. Plus, those people might just say something to appease me. I mean, I want people that really want help.
Right.
We want to spend our time wisely. And so we depend on introductions. And so the board is the first line of introductions of banks. And now that we've had almost 2,000 clients, our clients, every day I get calls from people, so-and-so that runs this told me how much you help them, so can we meet? And so our clients have turned into our biggest referrals partners. And so, and the clients, you can see there, we're at 1,944. Jackson's at 339. new and expanded businesses, 73 in Jackson alone, 383 regional. And we do believe in regional vitality. That I love when the board gets together because they're from all different counties and they help. They cross. They're very intertwined. Jobs created, 1,457. I remember when I started this, it was like 200 or 300 or something. And I remember thinking, wow, who wouldn't do backflips if a factory was coming in and going to hire 300 people, right? It's like, woo! But the nice thing about our job creation is it's spread out. And so if a mom and pop or a small business is like, okay, I've done this for a long time and, we're going to sell or close our doors, whatever, what have you, it's not devastating to a community. I mean, it's not good, but it's not devastating like a factory closing. So ours are small, and spread out. And tune-ups, that's when someone calls us, and we get a lot of calls from previous clients. Hey, I want a new point of purchase, or I want a new platform, or what do you know about AI? Come in and show me how I can use that. So we're doing a lot of educational things too. With this past year, we've done AI virtual classes for our clients and stuff. So they would come in and learn about how can they use AI as another employee almost. They can save money doing that and things. So we've done a lot of educational things, and I'm very excited. I wanted to come tell you about this because it's and jump in, Lynn, because I'm just like, I know. We were blessed. We applied for a Patterson grant to help our project expand its offerings. Now, they're very earmarked specific things. When you apply for something, you have to use them just for those things. And so, and one of those things we need to maintain our funding is important, but the benefits are going to be really, it's astounding. What we're doing with our Patterson money, we're going to use it to, of course, enhance our profile, so more people know about us. Since we can't advertise, we can't go door to door, we just are going to use some of that for that. But the biggest thing is going to be, they're allowing us to use the money to buy some decision-making platforms. So we're looking at a suite of platforms that will help anybody trying to make a decision on a business. How can it be the most intelligent decision and most informed decision? So there's some platforms out there that give us push-pull. So if someone's, say, boomers, people are eating out of the county or out of the county, and they're going to Topeka. How many millions of dollars goes to Topeka every year, and for what? It'll give us things like that, gaps, where, okay, gas stations or liquor store or body work for cars, whatever it might be, there'll be segments that we can look at and say, okay, in this zip code, where are they going to buy this? And how can we fill that? Or make a better decision about what niches are open if someone wants to start a business. So in 2017, the Atchison Economic Development Group that I sit on, they did a big study. They did not buy the platform though. They're not subscribers like we want to be, which is nice because we get updated all the time. We'll have fresh, new information all the time. But they did a big study on the gaps and things like that. And it was very useful, but of course it's obsolete now. I mean, it's obsolete in a year or two, because it was just that micro minute of business. But it did tell us how many millions of dollars leaves to go do stuff. And that's what we kind of need to know. And I think there's other decision-making things, feasibility. How many people have this specific need? How many people would use it? Things like that, that you could capture as a business, even a portion of it, a percentage of it, that can make an intelligent decision about their business. So you probably know with your business, it's hard to know what's the best data. And so I'm very excited about that. That's one of the biggest things I think that from Patterson, we get to use that money for decision-making platforms. And that will make us very unique. Kansas just added Everything Kansas, and I don't know if you've heard of that, but that's all public data. I'm sorry, would I say everything, everywhere, all the time?
All
Kansas.
It's a K-State initiative.
Yeah, all things Kansas. And it's all public data. It's anything, it's all open data. This would be proprietary data. This would be something you have to pay for. And so I'm very excited about that. Any questions on that? Anything you want to add, Lynn?
I think it's tricky for me as I administer a program over 5 counties of how to allocate resources when we don't have funding from one county.
Sure.
And so I think that we're going to have to find a way to replace that income and probably shift to a different location or shift to maybe having Teresa teach online classes or some other source of funding revenue. So that's a loss to Jackson County because over just Teresa's 15 years, she's had some very successful business startups in this county that are anchors in your community, and you don't even realize it. And so I think it would be a loss for not today, but small business is a churn. It's something we constantly have to be investing in and growing in. And so, having this consultant 6 months from now, that may make an impact that we can't anticipate seeing here today. And it's a pretty cheap return on investment, I think, for your community. So, that's kind of where I'm at in the balance of things and trying to figure out how to administer appropriately.
It is an investment. I know Matt Wilson came last time, and he goes, I pay more in taxes than she's asking, like 10 times more in taxes than she's asking. So, and
Who?
Matt Wilson Tire.
Yeah.
He came in, he was just saying the return on your investment, he's paying more back in taxes from sales and from property, everything, that doesn't even come close to what I'm asking. I mean, nothing compared to what he pays, is my point. And that's just one business. So I know nonprofits are hard sometimes, but at least we're a nonprofit that has a return. Like, we're helping folks return the tax base, to the tax base, broaden the tax base. And so Matt was pretty vehement about it. He's like, he was very eloquent, and I'm sure he'd come again if you want to hear from him. But I've got other folks too that can come in. But the point being, they're giving back more than you will ever know to fund this program. Does that make sense? At least you get something back.
Okay.
Well, I appreciate your time. If you have any questions, I've got some cards.
Yeah, I will just tell you that it's very difficult to make these decisions on who we fund and who we don't. And there's been a real push to look at what we're only mandated to fund because the budget is. Matt would probably agree that he doesn't want to pay more taxes.
Right, nobody
And
else.
so every time we give money away, we're finding it hard to fund our own departments to operate the county. And thank you very much. I appreciate it. Again, I see the value.
Mm-hmm.
It's finding the funding for that. And it's difficult. We're looking at reduction in force in some departments to help not have to increase the mill levy more than we're having to do.
Yeah.
So, not to say we can't do something in the future, but at least at this point.
Yeah.
It is what
I
it
wanted
is.
to come and see
Right.
where you were at with, open-minded to funding us,
Mhm.
because I don't want to break up the band. Our 5 counties have been so powerful and working together. It's been a really good example as a regional win. I mean, all across Kansas.
So this program was started by an Italian, Ernesto Ciroli, and he has how many across the world?
304, almost 400 now.
Yeah,
Projects
projects like
like
these programs, and like he came back a year ago, and he came just this last maybe 6 months ago, and we are the gold star of all of them across the world. And
I
Teresa, they
hosted-
send
yeah.
Teresa people to train. So this is a unique and special thing. We understand that the county has lots of asks.
There's a lot of things
At
right
least
here.
we give back to the taxpayers. I mean, we do have that going for us, and Lynn's right, you know, we've hosted people that travel and can't, like, I got a call a couple of years ago, a Brazilian, and he's like, Ernesto told me that if I want to learn how enterprise facilitation works on the ground, come to Kansas. And so he came to stay with us a few weeks, traveled, all of Kansas. But we've had people from Wales, Brazil, Australia, Canada, Africa, I'm sure I'm missing, Scotland. Yeah, it's crazy. It's all over the world. So he sends them here because we, you know, have been so successful here in the rural areas. It's for rural areas. It's developed to help rural areas grow.
Okay.
So,
Thank you very much.
thank you
Thank you.
very much.
Appreciate it. Bethany, come on up. How are you today?
Good.
How are you today?
Good. So obviously, I just wanted to touch base with you guys. I'm not privy to the decisions that were made regarding the budget. So, with the funding that we supposedly got for 2027, I just wanted to come and kind of hear your guys' thoughts on why those decisions were made the way they did, and I guess the direction you see the office going in the future, just based on kind of what presented throughout the year and the needs, and then what you guys were able to approve.
Well, unfortunately, the way that the finances in the county are, and like I said, I know this is something you don't want to hear, and this is not something I want to tell you, but we had looked at doing the, we had looked at doing the other position, the other attorney, and we just don't have the funds to do it. There's just, that's just the long and short of it right there. We just do not have the funds to do it.
Was the total amount of increase, this has been changed, but I got the other sheet. Let's see. You were wanting to add a full-time position, and that was going to be $89,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the hard part is, I mean, we're already looking at a mill increase. That's 80,000 is half a mil. And is the public going to swallow that? That's the piece we have to figure out. I mean, I don't want to pay more property tax, as most people don't. And how do we get through this? How is that going to affect your office and the safety of the community?
Well, like I was telling you guys before, obviously we have days in court where there are 2 attorneys needed in both courtrooms, and 2 attorneys handling the felony docket leaves no one to handle the misdemeanor docket. So we have had many days. We have our interns cover when they're here, but obviously they're not full-time. So there are days where we don't have an attorney in the courtroom for court cases, which is concerning to me because I want a presence with my office anytime there's a hearing. And like I told you guys, that's just using resources because it just gets reset. The case gets continued to a date and time when the county attorney's office is available. So we're asking defendants to come back at least once, if not multiple times, to a date and time where we can appear in the courtroom. So that's concerning. Another concern that I have, obviously, is just caseload-wise. We have such a high caseload with just 2 attorneys that we're not giving the attention that these cases deserve. Obviously, I'm putting in the hours. My assistant county attorney, Amy, as you guys know, is leaving because of caseload and home money. I have hired another attorney. I think she's going to be great. But again, just case numbers wise, I don't have the time to invest in the higher level cases that I'd like to because I have so many. So at this point, it's like we're trying to keep our head above water instead of putting the time each case deserves in each case. So I think in the end, it's gonna affect taxpayers, not necessarily, I don't know, I think eventually.
Probably not safety wise, but
I don't wanna miss things because I'm too busy.
that's better.
I have obviously enough people in the week, but at a certain point, you invest your time where you're needed most.
Is
So I have
there,
concerns about that.
is there anything at our level that we can do to help facilitate between you and the court that helps with the amount of the way cases are, how often and how
Yeah.
quickly and
I mean, I'm in constant communication with them regarding our, our lack of, just the presence in the courtroom. So, obviously, I have hired multiple interns that we pay part-time to cover those, but they're not here full-time. So that's kind of the solution that I've come up with. It's not a permanent, full-time thing, and obviously, they aren't licensed attorneys to where they're handling cases without approval from an attorney. So they can only do so much as interns. So I just have concerns. I think at this point, we're just kind of keeping our head above water and we're not giving the cases the attention that they deserve. And I don't want that, I guess, to be a long-term thing where I continue to have turnover in the office because of caseloads, because of the pay. And as a county attorney, I feel like I owe the county my time. And so I want to give the cases that deserve my time. And so I think that's kind of where I'm struggling. And I understand everybody had cuts this year, so I get it, but long term, I don't know if it's something we can plan for in the future. I know I had just asked for 4 months worth of the salary for 2027 to try and kind of not ask for the full thing, I guess. Right away,
would there be any value to, can you hire an attorney part-time to help cover cases in 27 that is not an intern? So you
Yes.
go, hey, you know what, we're gonna have X number of cases, can you handle this one or this one to help with that?
That's something I'm exploring. Obviously, taking that intern money and maybe hiring someone part-time to appear for felony dockets on Thursdays and Fridays when we need them. I also, I know you guys know I have a grant writer who's looking into hiring a victim witness advocate or getting a grant for a victim witness advocate. I'm hopeful that I can get that, plus the benefits covered on that. She said that you can ask for benefits to be covered as well. So I'm hopeful that I get salary and benefits covered for that position.
So,
But perhaps maybe there's grants out there where we can hire a third attorney under a grant. I don't know, I haven't explored that. And I'm looking at other ways to
so I'll
fund it
just
too.
bring you up to speed the rest of me. I happened to talk to Senator Bowser this past week, and he updated me on the information that the elder had gotten written. I got it to him. He has got it to a couple people that, and they're trying to figure out a way and an avenue for money to fulfill that. He didn't say no, and Craig works very hard, Senator Bowser works very hard to try to find people. He does a lot of research and tries to put the document in the right people's hands. He believes there's a path forward. That would be finding that this fall, and then of course when the legislature takes up in January, that's when they would move a bill forward somehow. Part of this is taking money away from other counties who have casinos and are receiving money.
Right.
They're going to throw a fit.
Right.
So I don't think that's a real option. I think it's finding new money, and I believe it's got to come from the gambling funds.
Yeah.
And so I think he's really trying to figure that out. That would be huge for both you and the sheriff
That would be great.
in this county.
And I can reach out to him obviously and
Please do. Please do. I think any time he gets additional information and understands the scope of what's going on, it helps him, and there may be a point where he may say, hey, can you come testify? Can you give, 30 seconds worth of testimony? Tim's also agreed to doing that, possibly next year, but it's finding that out, and it's tricky.
Right. Well, and I obviously am newer, so I don't know historically how budgets have worked. If it's always every year it's tighter. Some years you have better years than others, but so not understanding, I guess, historically where you guys are at. I just wanted some clarification.
I appreciate that. Yeah. It stinks, but we only have so much.
Yeah. I understand everyone has to deal with it, so I just, it's a need, and it's going to continue to be a need, so I just wanted to obviously voice that.
Don't see it going down anytime soon.
Yeah, we're trying to do the best we can with what we have to work with. It's just stretching everything we can to get anything. So it's unfortunate.
Yeah.
But
All right, well, thank you guys for your time, I appreciate it.
all right, thanks. Break real quick.
Okay.
Picking a sweater. Oh my.
I did entertain a motion to add Barbara Crofton to the agenda.
Second.
It's probably moved second to add Barbara Crofton to the agenda. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Ms. Brockman, you want to come on up?
Thank you.
What's on your mind today?
Everything.
Everything. There you go.
Don't cut the deputies. We had a big problem and they shot their way in.
Yep.
And that is scary. But that's not why I'm here. I want to know what you guys know, or when you remember the last time that the entire levy was examined, tax levy.
You mean as far as the budget wise?
No, the levies that were set. Am I saying the right thing?
I mean, what each property is worth, or not, I guess,
Or each territory? I'm finding it by territory.
each territory? Yeah, you mean land itself, not a home, or your combination of both?
Combination of both it could be, but generally speaking, right now I'm talking about homes.
Okay, thank you, that helps.
I want to know why there seems to be so much difference. So much.
Okay.
I can compare mine to some others' areas. They have, I think they have something like 6 tracts of land, or acres, and I have almost an acre. My taxes come within $200, me paying $200 of what they are paying. So, yes.
Do you mind if I ask, do you live in the city limits of Bolton or outside the city limits?
We are apparently considered city limits because we get certain things. Our electric comes that way, our billing, and so forth.
Well, so
you're
you're
talking
within
about-
3 miles. I think you're within 3 miles of Holton, then if you're down city electricity.
But you're specifically
No,
talking,
I'm
Well, it's only, so you're within a 3 mile radius of
Oh,
Holton.
within,
Yes.
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 you're specifically talking about the value of your property versus somebody else's property? Or are you saying what the tax is levied on you versus what somebody else is giving?
Well, what would be the difference? 'Cause
Well,
if
the
you-
value of a property would be different than what is levied on just a piece of property. So your property may be valued, I'm just going to use the number $100,000, but a house down the road from you or 6 miles from you could be similar length, width, height, conditions could be different, and it could be valued at $50,000.
But I can't figure out what conditions are different. I just cannot figure that out.
Right, so some of it may be the age of it, but typically what the appraiser looks at is what it can be sold for. So in other words, if your house can be sold for $100,000 based on past history, so they go back and they look at what homes, and you guys correct me if I'm wrong, but they go back and they look at the past history of how real estate market is acting. So if that style of home that you have, they find 3 others within a certain distance have all sold for $100,000, yours is probably going to sell for that also. I'm not saying it's a perfect system, but that's the system that we have to use.
Have you asked the appraiser's office for an explanation?
I'm going there. Believe me, I'm going there. But I wanted to know what you guys knew about it at this point.
Because they should be able to show you comparisons as to
Great point.
what your house, what it's
So that's
compared
what
to.
I'm going to do.
And even, the neighbors or whoever else is you're looking at,
Right.
that's open record. They could show you comparisons.
Well, I just cannot figure this out.
And as far as when the last time, what you're calling the levy was set,
That's the next place I'm going to, because something is wrong with the system around here. Anybody knows if you have 6 acres versus 1 acre, you're going to get at least 6 times the income.
Not necessarily.
Whether you're renting it out, whether you're...
Are these 6 acres, I'm sorry to interrupt you, are the 6 acres have residents on them?
Some do.
That piece is subjective, so, because a business or a rental property is not required to divulge income.
Mm-hmm.
It's not, the state doesn't require it, it can be done voluntarily, but you are not required by state statute to divulge income. So therefore, if it's a rental property, but it's a little less dilapidated a little bit, maybe compared to yours, maybe that's why. There's a lot of variables.
Oh, there's a lot of variables, and I realize that, but I just cannot figure this out.
Sure.
This has a school system involved. Here, though, I think that's what hooked part of this, is because of schools,
So your
schools.
mill levy is affected by the school district and the city. Where somebody just outside the bounds of the city limits or in a different school district would be huge, because I think, I don't know the current, but it was, I don't know that it's changed, you have 14 and a quarter mills just for your school. 14 and a quarter. Compared to I'll use Royal Valley because I know my son lived within the 3-mile radius of Holton, and when he moved and purchased a home in Royal Valley's district, his property taxes went way down. Down, because there was not a school mill levy that was as high as what Holton's is. I'm just using that's an explanation for you.
But Holton has like, what, 2 new schools, so to speak?
I don't know. I don't know.
The one up
Just
here,
one.
well, then they changed down here, so they no longer have a school over there.
But they combined Central and Colorado into one elementary school with
Yeah.
the bond issue.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think that's what the 14 important bills are paying for, is that. So that will affect how much you pay versus somebody in the county.
Well, I am in county.
Outside of the city limits,
Well, again,
in a
apparently,
different school district.
apparently I'm not supposed to be. I'm supposed to be in the city limits and I'm in the same schools, evidently.
I don't believe that you're in the city limits out there where you're at.
But how,
But you get electricity from the city because the city supplies electricity for a 3-mile radius around the city.
But you're not actually.
But you're not actually in the city limits. You just get your electricity from the city.
right, that's where part of the catch is, I
Yeah.
think. Because we don't have sewer systems or anything
No.
like that.
But I think Linda had a great idea. I think you go up and have the appraiser's office give you some comparisons.
Yeah, well, I'm definitely headed there. But I had so many subjects today that I was just wanted to put that one out there first.
Yeah.
But my next question is, what is going on with the court system up above here?
As far as what, ma'am?
Anything. Anything. You take it from the lawyers to the way the court system is handled. Have you been up there and listened to them or gone through any of the cases?
It's extremely busy. Is that what you're saying?
No, what I'm saying is, they don't seem to realize who they're dealing with.
In what way?
Humanity.
So you,
Somebody can be hard of hearing, someone cannot understand the languages. Do they care? No, they open and shut a door.
they do, I will tell you that they do provide an interpreter, because I see the bills for it.
I'm not looking for an interpreter, I'm looking for humanity as it stands. For they can have something written to the people, so the people can read that they do not do this or they do that. In fact, I almost saw shooting pennies over there among them on a case. And that is the fact. That is the fact.
I'm not sure what you mean by that, but anyway.
It's ridiculous. I think probably since they had that hardship, a lot of it has happened personally with some of the personnel. That's what I think. The hardship, I believe they had a death, and I think that affected some of the personnel.
I believe that our court system and the personnel that work up there are extremely professional. If you're misinterpreting what they're doing, I'm sorry, but I think to imply that they're not professional, I would disagree with you. They're very professional. All of them.
I'm not saying they aren't, but I'm saying they're taking this in a different stream of reality.
And maybe, just maybe, you don't have a good understanding of what's taking place up there. All you're hearing and seeing is what goes on in that courtroom. So, I'll leave it at that.
Well, that's quite possible, but I have been at both sides, and I've been in schooling, and it has gone down, in my opinion. That's an opinion. But anyway, I still don't understand, and I will go over to, I'm backing up now.
That's okay.
I'll go over and, because I've got some places in mind, and I'm gonna have them divulge to me what that property is worth. There's something wrong in the system. Absolutely something wrong.
But are some of the properties you're comparing to, I mean, if they're in a different taxing unit, some people might have a different levy for a cemetery or fire district?
That's what I'm gonna find out.
Okay, because that all makes a difference, they all add together.
Yeah, I know it does, but I still feel something's loose somewhere, and I don't know where. But anyway, speaking of that, in general, I guess, the next thing I'm wanting to talk about is, or explode out there, is the highway system. And I hope you folks can back me up on this, because Highway 75 has got to be fixed. I don't know how familiar you are with number 9 and 75 crossings. It's terrible, absolutely terrible. You cannot see the bottom of that north hill.
That's right.
We're gonna have a meeting, we're gonna have another meeting. Meetings won't do it, you've gotta get out there with the equipment and get something done.
And that's out of our hands, that would be KDOT.
I know it is, but
Yeah.
I want you to,
And we've discussed that with the secretary and trying to get that a 4-lane all the way to the state line. So, they're working that way, but these things take time, and there's no way that they're gonna get it done tomorrow.
but it don't have to take that kind of time that they're talking about. It does not have to. I worked for Highway for years, and I still have a very great interest in it. But they've got to step up and do something now, not after their third meeting. that's ridiculous.
Sure.
You know, I think anybody would agree with that. So anyway, I hope that you will feel that it is very important out here. It's vital. They did a little bit of fixing, you know, and they put that apron out so that you can turn out and you get on the extra lanes.
Mhm.
But they didn't do it right. They left a gap there that the tires fall down in, and the other thing is the moisture. They just threw it out there and forgot about it.
Right.
They did not address that correctly. But anyway, I'm wanting to get that done. Also, I want to get a light at O Road and 16. They got that little bitty dippy hills.
Mm-hmm.
The traffic is terrible. It's very, very, very bad.
What kind of light are you referring to, ma'am?
A stoplight or something that goes. They have control of the department. The deputies, the sheriff has control over for people, you know, on the traffic. Not only were we robbed the other night, and I'm thinking it came from there, but I don't know that. I can't tell you. I can only tell you the two people voices. I don't know. But anyway, it's got to be taken care of, and I don't know how else it could be done without a light. So yeah, I had a meeting last week with the Reinhardt and in Topeka, but I didn't make it. I had a health situation. So I'm still he's still on the schedule to speak with him. But I do not think they realize, you know, they're in Olathe, they're in Topeka, they're in Horton, and I don't think they fully realize. Horton should realize a little bit, but I don't know how much they really realize about how necessary this is. Because, and I don't know for sure why everybody's going to Omaha, Nebraska out of Texas. There's something going on, but I don't know what it is. And those people do not, most of them, I won't say all of them, but a lot of them just do not realize about the traffic. They don't care, it appears. But anyway, yes, it's definitely happening. Well, I thank you for your time, and I just want to know if you knew more about this assessment, because I'm willing to pay my share, but my share cannot be compared to somebody that has 6 lots. And I have almost 1. Now something is way wrong in that. And I intend to get to the bottom of it even if I'm completely wrong. Well, that's hard for me to say. Just kidding.
All right, thank you very much, ma'am, appreciate it.
Thank you all. You have to give me a little time. I had surgery.
Oh, you're good.
Walk slow.
Yeah, 20 minutes. maybe?
Gonna take a motion?
Yeah, I'll move to go into executive session. Purpose of attorney-client privilege discussion for a period of 15 minutes, or 20 minutes, I'm sorry, starting at 11:21, turning 11:41, three over this room. For,
Succession plans against the county. Succession plans against the county.
Second.
Okay, probably move second, go into executive session for 20 minutes. Attorney-client privilege, possible claims against the county. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign, motion carried. All right, I would entertain a motion to go into executive session for attorney-client privilege claims against the county.
Move to go into executive session for the purpose of attorney-client privilege, discussion, a period of 15 or 20.
I don't think we need it that long. Let's go 10 minutes.
10 minutes?
Yeah.
Starting at 11:42, returning at 11:52 to this room, claims against the county.
Second.
It's proper move and second to go into executive session for attorney-client privileges, possible claims against the county. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign, motion carried. All right, I would entertain a motion to approve consent order for case number 2026-OG-005.
So moved.
Second.
Probably moved and seconded to approve consent order for case number 2026-OG-005. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign, motion carried. We have a couple of things real quick, like Christie had sent this down for the NAV for recorder, talking about the third annual county budget informational meeting for a cost and publishing a recorder at a cost of $185.40 per week for publication in the recorder and the shopper. For July, the week of July 8th and the week of July 15th. That was the 8th, so
July 8th is passed.
what's that? Yeah, so the 8th is passed, so the only one we're getting in would be the 15th. Is that agreeable?
Required to have two.
You know, it's just in your head.
Oh,
That's just an ask for a budget information meeting.
I'm fine.
So I would say yes to that one, consent, okay? And then we also have one in the recorder for the Meet the People, like we did last year. So we said we'd do this year too, but they want $1,313.25 for a full page ad. So where we had to put all the
Took the
departments.
picture and stuff.
You guys do.
All right, we'll see you later. Thank you. That seems a little pricey to me.
You can skip the picture.
Yeah, I
Put
think.
it on Facebook for free.
Yeah, I think we're just gonna skip
Carol,
that.
take a picture.
And what is this? Do you?
Oh, she was asking and we didn't know.
Claire was?
Are we, is that, are we doing anything with the cities? Was it if we get the renewal?
No,
Okay, just need clarification.
no, because that's what we agreed on there too. We're keeping the full 4%
Correct.
for the county. Yeah. Okay. I believe that's all of the business that we have for us. We still have, we got the minutes. Those there. Has everybody read their minutes?
I know.
Okay, we get those taken care of. Then we have official minutes to sign also.
Ed is working until, he's open up on Tuesday, correct? Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
I believe so.
Saturday.
I believe, well, don't quote me on that because I think that he's still closed on Tuesday, but he's using that time to do cleanup, mowing, things like that.
Oh, I think you're right.
Yeah, I think that's the way that was. But I think he would just as soon be open.
I think you're right.
We'll need some clarification on that, but I believe that that's the way that was. Yeah, we're gonna need a motion on that. I believe.
Yeah.
To approve those minutes.
Move that we approve the minutes from the Jackson County Environmental Services, Knox Street Department, landfill meeting.
Second.
Okay, it's probably moved second to approve the minutes from the Jackson County landfill, noxious weed. So council has waste and recycling.
It's read what was on it. Didn't have household records.
Okay. I thought it was because our household has a waste guy attended the meeting as a member. They Cunningham.
It's, then the motion will read the Jackson County Solid Waste Committee meeting.
Perfect. That's perfect. So second, okay. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
This is the first time we've ever had minutes.
No, the former minutes are back behind here. For a year ago.
Okay.
Several voiced their concerns over grader operators still waiting on rock trucks. Been talking about that for almost 6 years now.
That was the change from work age. So yeah, you do it like that. Your printing's better than mine.
I tried.
Thank you. Okay, has everybody read the minutes of July 6, 2026?
Yes.
Any additions or corrections?
No.
Okay, I'd entertain a motion to approve the minutes of July 6, 2026.
So moved.
Been properly moved and seconded to approve the minutes of July 6, 2026. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Have we all read the minutes of July 6, 2026 for the work session with the townships?
Yeah.
Okay, entertain a motion to approve the minutes of July 6, 2026 work session with the townships.
So moved.
Second.
Been probably moved and seconded to approve the minutes of July 6, 2026 work session with the townships. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carried. I believe, say that takes care of all of the business that we have. We just have to sign the official minutes. Get your hand numbered up before you start signing, so you can get right through.
Is this supposed to have a signature on this one? Or is that blank? And move to the next page. So we'll have to read them, but if they're supposed to be here.
Oh, I think this is just, it was
Okay, all right.
So it's- it's not. The format's different on that because they got scanned
Okay.
and accidentally released.
Yep. Thank you.
All right, so any further business come before us today? I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Been properly moved and seconded to adjourn this meeting. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Meeting is adjourned.